Brad, you guys have been down many times this year, but just what did you say to your team to keep them in it?
Well, I thought we were too sped up on offense, and I thought we were too we were just doing our own thing. We weren't playing with any togetherness defensively. And so, we just said we need to do our jobs first and foremost. And then, hopefully if you do that enough of the time, you'll have a chance to get back in this thing. And then, I would say that was a win that was, largely attributed to the unbelievable effort of our players and the other 18,000 people in here, because it was that was one of those deals. We needed everybody engaged in the game, and it was a special environment, and the end of the first half gave us a chance.
Brad, Chris Mannix with Yahoo. The physicality with which you're playing against Ben Simmons, particularly a guy like Marcus, how much of that is strategic? How much of that is just Marcus being
Marcus who?
Marcus Morris, sorry.
Yeah, Al starts the game on him. Marcus Morris, Shemi, Marcus Smart will just rotate, and we're just trying to keep him in front. It's hard to do. He's a heck of a player, and obviously he didn't play as well tonight, but good players always respond, and so we're going to have to be even better in Game 3. But I'm trying our best to keep him in front, and he's really hard to guard with a smaller player because he's so big and strong and shifty. So we just, we're fortunate to have a bunch of bodies, to be able to kind of rotate guys. We're just trying to keep them in front.
Jack and Close from The Ringer. You guys were down in the second quarter. You put in Greg Monroe. What was the thinking there? How did that help turn it around?
Well, one of the things that I, so appreciate about team, and one of the things that I so enjoy about team is when a guy that is going through, maybe something he's never gone through, like in Greg's case of actually sitting a few games in a row, or but he just stays positive, and then when his number gets called, he turns the game around for you. And that's what's special about being a part of a team. We've seen it before with other guys throughout the course of the year. Everybody's talked about our depth and different guys stepping up now, and some guys aren't getting as much opportunity. And to be able to maintain a positive attitude and go in there and just contribute and get that game turned with him and Al together. We got some easy baskets at the rim. Huge plays, and, hats off to Greg. He helped us win the game, and he was a big reason why we won the game.
Coach Bob Schramm, the Citizen, you came back, and then you had the lead into the second half, but then they responded. Anything that comes to mind that allowed you to turn it back around and clinch the win?
Well, by that time, you're just happy to be in a back-and-forth game. I think that you're going to have moments. I thought the start of the fourth quarter we were shaky, but we had some guys sitting over there and getting their quick breather. But I think, at the end we were pretty good, and they played some guys all the way through, and that's scary. You just have to account for Redick every minute that he's in. You have to account for Covington, the way he was shooting the ball. Obviously, Bellinelli hit some big shots. You've got, all those guys are more than capable. And then, Simmons and Embiid. And then McConnell was ridiculous. He was a big reason why that game ebbed back towards them. By then you're just happy to be in a game. You didn't know if it was going to be a game in the second quarter.
Brian Robb, Boston Sports Journal. Brad, Jalen, 25 minutes for him. When did you find out he was going to be able to go, and did you expect to be able to, him to be able to go that long? 25
minutes was what I was told that he could play. Again, the MRI or whatever scan he had showed that there was no tear, there was no structural damage. It was a strain. It was probably below a grade 1, but we were going to be very cautious in bringing him back. So they felt good about him playing, but it felt like if he went above 25, that would have been a little bit more risky. So I think he felt pretty good. We'll see how he feels tomorrow, and we'll go from there. But I thought he played really hard, and I thought that he kind of this series kind of hit him when he first got in the game, because he was, you're kind of coming back from an injury and you're kind of feeling yourself out. And oh, by the way, everything's flying around you. But then he made some huge plays for us, obviously.
Hey, Brad. I was
Hey, Paul.
going to ask about Jalen, but let me switch it over to Marcus Smart then instead. You've always said that you have confidence that Marcus will make it when it counts. And tonight, I mean, he really stepped up in terms of getting you guys back in the game offensively. What did you see from him on that end of the floor tonight?
When something requires guts, Marcus Smart's going to be stepping up. Like we had nothing going in the first half, and he kind of kept us afloat early, and then they pushed the lead out. And then, I thought he was great on Redick in the second half. Made some more plays, made some more shots, and I've said it before. He may miss it. He may miss some throughout the course of the season, but when these lights are on and he steps up into that shot, I believe in him. And I think that he knows that, and we all do. And it was fun to see him knock a few down.
Marcus Hayes from Philadelphia Inquirer. Brett, you guys were up 22 at one point, and it evaporated. What did you see made it go away?
I mean, I think the Celtics' defensive intensity went to a higher level. I think somewhere about the 5-something minute mark, we brought Joel and JJ back into the game in the second period, and we give them credit. They went on a little run, then they went on another run. I think with about 2 minutes left. You're sitting there wondering. Matchups, you're thinking about timeouts, you're thinking about all of it. And I feel like if I had to do it again, I would do the same thing. I would have had the same people in the game, trying to, on the road, make sure you have an ample amount of timeouts. It's going to be a close game. And that's the decision I made.
Coach John Schumann, NBA.com. Your own defense was disruptive first 16 minutes of the game, forcing turnovers, deflections. How did they sort of recover from that? What happened with you on that end of the floor, sort of end of the second quarter, start of the third?
Yeah, I mean, I think their speed at times does bother us, and obviously, the matchup with Al is a tough one for us and for most of the league. I think in general, you go have a strong look again at the three-point line, their three-point percentage. But to your point, I feel that their scoring came with attacking us off a dribble, and really collapsing our defense. And we give them credit where they found open three-point shooters.
Brett, what did you think of the way Ben played, and do you think the physicality of how Boston's playing and Marcus Morris in particular is affecting him?
I think the way Boston is guarding us in general is something that I respect. Like I've said, every time either pre or post game, and when I see you at our practices, I kind of am redundant. I say the same thing. They are elite guarding their own men. And I think there's a physicality and a switchability that they got apples for apples on many, many different matchups. And with Ben, I give them credit. They do a good job defending him. There is an element of physicality that I feel that they have applied to all of us. And tonight, Ben struggled, as we see. But I give Boston's defense a lot of credit and respect.
Brett, you said that you wouldn't really make any changes with regards to who you played, timeouts, all that. But the moment in the second quarter where they're on that run where they really took the game back, what's the thought process there behind not calling a timeout and sort of
that you trust your veteran? I trust my players that they have shown that they can hold on to stuff, that they know how to stay organized, and they've shown that over the past third of the season. And as I said, as we study this, and it's easy for us to say, oh, they went on that run, like, do you burn a timeout? When we study it and we sort of like discuss it on a bench, we want to have stuff. I wished I had more at the end of the game as well. And so I feel like when you started subbing that we were going to be able to hold the fort. In retrospect, we didn't. Would have timeout have fixed it? I don't think so. We can maybe second guess that. but by and large, it's going into the game and trying to make sure you have enough at the end of the game also to manage it. You knew it was going to be a close game. You know, the notion that we were going to like maintain a 20-point lead and walk out of the Boston Garden wasn't on my mind. That wasn't on my mind. I felt like we did to them, they were going to do to us. Runs were going to be had. And so when you bring Embiid and JJ back into the game, and you know you've got a sort of a stockpile of timeouts to use, that was my decision. And as I said, as I sit here, I do it again. I'll go back and look at the tape, and if it's something that I will pivot out of, I'll share it with everybody when I see you next.
Into this one,
Coach, Brett, TJ obviously had a big impact in the game tonight. When he's rolling like that, especially in that last 5 minutes, how do you balance when to decide whether or not to take him out and going with the guys you've rolled with all season, or giving him a shot to kind of close it out?
I mean, it's a tough decision. I admit it. This whole playoff experience is something that I want our young guys and our star players to learn from and grow. And the decision, do you go with TJ still, or do you come back to Ben Simmons? I'm coming back to Ben Simmons. I'm coming back to Ben. He's had a hell of a year. I think he's the rookie of the year. I think he's going to have to learn how to play in these environments, and I'm going back with Ben Simmons.
what did you see from Covington in tonight's game?
I thought he was good. I thought he was good defensively. You know, I thought he made some shots. I thought he was really active and engaged defensively, especially. It's why he ended up with the minutes that he ended up with. But I think 22 points and 9 rebounds, you know, had a positive +4 while he was on the floor. I thought he was good tonight.
Coach Mark D'Amico, Celtics.com. Obviously a tough result for any team to handle, but for a young team, when you walk into that locker room after that game ended, what is the message that you deliver to your players?
That you move on. Nobody's crying. We're not begging for anything. We're going to walk out of Boston knowing they did what they had to do. They won 2 games at home, and we're going to have to reciprocate. And the thing that I don't want is and there won't be, there's not going to be a pity party. We're not going to sit in there and, you know, have a bunch of second thoughts or second guesses. I'm not going to let them, and neither am I going to let the coaching staff. We'll figure out things we have to do to win and improve, but we're going to walk out of here and figure out a way to get back on track. They did what they had to do, and we give them credit, and we look forward to coming back and playing in Philadelphia.
Jared Weiss, The Athletic. In Game 1, Al Horford was able to get mismatches in the post off of screens at the end of the game. Tonight, he was able to attack Joe straight on. What do you think worked and didn't work for defending the pick and roll with Horford tonight, and what are you trying to build on for the next game?
I mean, I thought we did a pretty good job for the most part of staying in front of people. That matchup that you just said, that instance that you just said, I think it brought it to 106, 101. It pretty much sealed the game, that catch-go that Al did. And I think in general, you know, like you get decisions to make on how you guard Al Horford in a pick and roll. And it's really hard because sometimes we started blitzing at the end of the game and, you know, just trying to bring a lot of people back over to the ball, wherever Al picked in part from. But I think, you know, the decision of do you late switch him, do you play him straight up, do you hedge and go back? That's always a hard decision. I think that play that you're talking about, we give Al credit. That was a tough closeout for Joel, and Al attacked it, and I think it sealed the game. Thank you.